The strange woman looked at my barren wife, smiled, and said, "You will carry a child before the next moon rises." Then she vanished into thin air. In our village, people knew me as a brave hunter, a man who feared nothing in the forest. But the truth is, the greatest battle of my life was not against wild animals. It was against the silent pain in my own home. My name is Victor, and this is the story of my wife, Elizabeth, the woman whose kindness changed our destiny forever. Elizabeth, my wife, was the brightest soul in our village. She laughed easily, she welcomed strangers like family, she fed the hungry even when we had little, but behind that warm smile lived a wound no one could see. For many years after our marriage, she could not bear a child, and in our land, barrenness is not just pain, it is a shadow that follows you everywhere. My mother never hid her anger. One evening, as Elizabeth served her food, Mother said, "What use is a wife who cannot give life? Do you expect my son's name to die with him?" Elizabeth paused, her hands trembled slightly, but she didn't argue. She knelt respectfully and replied softly, "Mother, I cannot fight what only God can change, but I promise I will never stop praying." That night, I found her crying quietly in the dark, and it broke my heart, because she still smiled in the morning as if nothing happened. Then came the day that changed everything. I went hunting deep into the forbidden forest, a place elders said was touched by the spirit world. As I tracked an antelope, I heard a faint voice, a cry. Weak, fading, I followed it. And found a young woman lying under a tree. She was beautiful, but barely alive. Her skin carried strange glowing marks. Fear told me to leave her, but compassion spoke louder, so I carried her home. When Elizabeth saw the stranger, she did not ask questions, she did not complain. She simply said, "No one should die when help is near." She cared for that woman, fed her, sang to her, watched over her like a mother watches her child, and I remember thinking, if kindness were a person, it would be my wife. Weeks later, the woman finally recovered. One night, under the full moon, she called Elizabeth. Her voice was different, deep, echoing, "Not human," she said. "You cared for me without asking who I am. Tell me, what does your heart truly desire?" Elizabeth's eyes filled with tears instantly. Her voice shook as she answered, "All I want is to hold a child of my own, to be free from the shame of being called barren." The woman smiled and said words that froze the air around them. "Your kindness has already spoken for you. Your wish is granted." In the blink of an eye, she vanished. When Elizabeth told me what happened, her voice trembled between fear and hope. She said, "Victor, what if it was real? What if heaven has finally remembered me?" I held her hands tightly and said, "Whether spirit or miracle, one thing I know, your kindness will never go unanswered." 1 month later, Elizabeth collapsed while sweeping the compound. My heart nearly stopped, but when the village healer examined her, he smiled, then said the words that changed our lives forever, "You are carrying life." I fell to my knees. Elizabeth burst into tears. Years of pain melted into a single moment of joy. That day, I learned something the forest never taught me. Bravery is not only fighting beasts. Sometimes, it is choosing kindness when your heart is breaking. Elizabeth's compassion healed not just a stranger, it healed our destiny. And today, when I hear my child laugh, I remember the lesson that changed our lives forever. Kindness may be silent, but its rewards are never small.